All right, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you guys. Let me look in the chat and just say hello really quickly. What's up, Vicky? Good to see you. Ted. We have Peter. Always awesome to see you guys. You guys are always early. All right, as we get started today, we have lots to cover today. First, I want to give our special shout outs to our iMusicAcademy, Blues Academy, which you guys are so awesome. So a shout out to Dave P, to T-Man, to Peter, to Claire, to Dave W, which gets the song of the day. We have Ian, Charity, Vicky, Ted, Pat, Paul, Helga, Jack, and our newest members, DJ. Mike has been hanging out with us, Mike, and we have Hugh. We have a Hugh and another Hugh, which is kind of an inside thing for another one of our members whose real name is Hugh. And then we have Gary, so we welcome Gary as well. Gary is officially our newest guy, and had some really nice comments from some of our other new members. And so thank you, guys, all of you. All right, so a couple things we're going to do today. So Dave W gets the chart of the day, and there are lots of reasons why. We're actually going to book 2 from the Bob Songbook, and I went ahead for everybody tuning in. This also is going to go out to our YouTube community. Very thankful for our YouTube community. Also, we have some other people that are kind of hanging out today, but I need somebody to put this live stream link in the WhatsApp chat group so that Helga and others have an opportunity. If anybody's interested in our WhatsApp community, that's a place where we can easily connect with each other, and it helps certain people who get notified that we go live. They like to have that in the WhatsApp chat group. So maybe Vicky, I'll put you on that, putting the link, or Ted or anybody else in the WhatsApp chat group. All right, so we're going to go through the Dave W songbook, and I put the link. And you guys could put it in the chat here to make sure you download it. At the very top, it's just a Dropbox link. Click it, and it'll give you the Dave W songbook. There's another thing we're going to do today. Let me pull up my window here and just look at it. I hope you guys know some little additions that we're doing to the stream. Now, first of all, there's your little chord thing. So if I play a cool C13 chord, which brings up one of the other things we're going to do today. So let me show you guys on the screen here a couple things. So this is the TED chart. I want to give a special shout out to Ted for creating these PDFs based on our lessons. And so thank you, Ted, for your hard work there. And there's some other things coming with all of this. But today we're just going to go through the top line. And I did believe that I sent this out in our Blues Academy email. I attached this TED chart. So make sure you guys have that. And let me minimize that and show you the next thing. There's the Dave W Jazzy. So Dave W, we have a Dave P and a Dave W, and everyone gets a song. You guys know that, and that's partly or some of the reasons why we created the Bob Songbook. All of these songs teach lessons, and this one, the Dave W's Jazzy 4 on the Floor Blues, I chose this from Volume 2 just because it has so much in there that can help us and apply to all of our tunes. So we welcome you to the stream, everyone, and let me just read the chat, and we're going to dig right in. Absolutely, yes, his charts are great. That's right. Yeah, I think I sent the revised one out. All right, so as we're practicing, and this is to everybody in our community, I want you guys to know that you remember you have little tips, things you can use like the online metronome. Just go to onlinemetronome.com, and it's there. And just a nice small little window. People ask me, they say, hey, well, why can't you just use it on your phone? You can use a metronome on your phone, but it's easy to get distracted if we're on our phones, right? So onlinemetronome.com is totally free, and I just shrink the window down and so that it lives up there, and I encourage everybody to use the metronome when you practice. I will occasionally check the chat just to check in. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. Also, if you just want to say hello and you're not even a member, you're just hanging out, we love to see where you're from and learn about you. So thank you for being here. And I did send this out to our email list as well, so a couple thousand people. And this is kind of last minute, but I just wanted to invite some other people. I am so excited at the rate that we are growing. I want it one person at a time. I can connect with each one of you. And for anybody, let me stop this metronome real quick. If anybody decides that that you're enjoying this, you want to be a part of our community, this is relatively new at iMusicAcademy. I've created courses for a long time. I sell courses, but what I love is to not only teach one-on-one, but also I love to make sure people are going through the courses, and that's why I created the Blues Academy, which is a whole separate thing, not a separate thing, but you have access to the online community as well as all of the courses in the membership area. And we do blues roadmaps and all kinds of things related to that. And so what I did, this is just a special little plug, if you want to call it, but several people have signed up through this, is I offer the bundle on the website, and there's a link in the email that I sent out today. And if you go to iMusicAcademy.com in the store, I have one of the bundles on sale. And if you get that, you not only get all of the hard copies of the digital copies of all the songs, you also get access to the membership area. And also, this is kind of a fun fact, is the Blues Academy will tell you once you're a member, it's like investing with one lesson a month with me. But I send out all the PDFs of unreleased things of the Bob Songbook, so you don't even have to pay for that. And all of the additional lessons, all these PDFs that you guys see are all included, so you never have to make another investment. It's just like one lesson a month with me. And I teach a lot of private lessons, and it's, people invest each week, but this is literally one time a month. All right, enough of that. Let's dig in and have some fun. So Dave W's Jazzy 4 on the Floor. What I like about this is at first, we're just starting this C, E, G, B flat. Now, why is this important? We've been doing the quarter note blues, which is quarter note 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Also in our Blues Volume 1, we have the eighth note bass line, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And we have blues alternate bass choruses, right, where we have all kinds of different bass lines to go with all this material. So as you learn how to solo in the right hand, you learn chords in the right hand, you learn licks in the right hand, you also learn different bass lines. And this is an example of a great simple bass line that you can do. And what it's doing is the 1 of the C major scale, the 3 of the C major scale, the 5, and the flat 7 of the C major scale. Well, how do you get a flat 7 anyway? You just flat, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you flat it. You lower it by a half step. And notice that my hand is over this shape here. C, E, G, B flat. And let me say this for anybody who's new, we're going to probably Thursday is always a really good day for me, and I'm probably going to go for a full hour today. We will stop right at 9:30. If you need to drop in and drop out, that's fine. But just know that this will be available for replay as well. But we're going to go to 9:30 today, and I might even do an extra stream for the YouTube community later today with something completely different. But just wanted you guys to know our time frame for today. All right, let me check the chat right here, and then we'll keep going. Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. Awesome. Hey, Humble May, good to see you as always. Awesome. I love it. Humble May is always wanting to do the jazz stuff, which I love. Absolutely. All right, so guys, I'm pulling up the chat here, and I'm going to put it on the side, and we're going to keep going here. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my metronome. This is at 52 beats per minute, which is kind of slow. Let me give you guys a good practice tempo. Let's see what 65 sounds like. Let's go a little bit faster. So this is the IMA 4 on the floor. So rather than do an offbeat jazzy metronome where we do 2 and 4, we're just going to go 4 on the floor. So this would be at 70 beats, and we're just going to go. All right, that's nice to settle into that pattern. And we are going to do some voicings later for jazz. So you can hang out for that, Humble May. All right, now, as I'm doing this and I have my metronome on, I'm building up muscle memory, right? Very important. Now, as you're learning tunes like this, let me stop the metronome just for a second. As I'm learning bass lines like this, let's just say that you're doing Blues Example 1 from Blues Volume 1, right? And you're used to this. Well, if you practice this bass line right here and you build up your muscle memory, guess what? Now you can use this. Right? And when you go to F, guess what? It's the same thing. Same form in your left hand. I'm having 5, 3, 2, 1. Back to C. Guess what? When I go to G, same thing. And then I'll walk up the turnaround. Here we go. Okay, so I know that you guys understand that this idea of practicing left hand, right hand separately is really important, and we're getting a lot done. It may feel kind of boring at times to think about playing this left hand groove, but I'm building up a muscle memory that I can use at any time while I'm really focusing on the right hand licks. And we also talk about at iMusicAcademy slow and straight. So if I do this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, even the first part, 1 and 2 and 3. If you have trouble with the swing feel, and there are ways we like to develop that, right? If you're thinking 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then a triplet feel, it helps you get into that swing feel, 1 and 2. But if you have trouble doing the swing feel, you play it slow and straight at first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this applies to all chords and all licks. Okay, so I'm going to tell you on this Dave W's jazzy tune so many things that I love about this, and the very first thing that I love about this is that it starts on the 3rd of the C triad, or C chord, C scale, right? We have the C, and it goes chromatically up to the 5th of the C major scale. Now what does that mean? Chromatically, one note at a time, to the very next half step, half step. So this idea of da 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 da, you hear all the time. Even in our different licks that we do, there's one of those generic patterns that starts root, minor third, ba da 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 da, and then it goes chromatically, boom da 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 da. Right? We have that as one of our blues shapes things that we do. You can play it slow, you can play it fast, but the idea is bum ba da 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 da. But this starts right on the major third, so my fingering, which is always most of the time written in at iMusicAcademy, right? All my PDFs, I like to show you guys potential fingering options for you. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 1. Da 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 da. And notice that I outline the C triad. You guys are going to find out, especially if you've been with me, the chord tones are one of the most important things we can do. I could take this one C pattern, and if I just played triads and I was going to solo, I have G is going to work, E, and of course C is my other part of the triad. Ba da 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 da. So listen. Boo doo dee da dum. 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 Now watch when I go to F chord. Boo da dee da dum. I just went to C minor, which now gives me the flat 7 of the F chord. Right? A bluesy sound for the F chord. So all I had to change was that one thing. Now back to the C triad. Now on G major, I can go to the G major triad. So now I'm thinking 1, 3, 5 of the G major. F. more time. That boo-da-dee-da-dum, boo-da-dee-dum, boo-da-dee-da-dum, boo-da-dum-dum, boo-da-da-da-da-da-dum, boo-da-dum-da-da-da-dum. And then on G, boo-da-dum-da-da-dum, boo-da-dum. All right, does that make sense? If it does, put it in the chat. Chord tones are your friend. All right, let me check everything. All right. Thank you guys for all the likes and all the feedback coming in. You guys are awesome. Yeah, very good. So as we go through this, know that even just right then, we unlock some really important things. Chord tones are important. If I'm on a C chord and I'm playing the C chord bass line, this C, E, G, B flat, all of my notes from a C major chord are going to work. Also, this wonderful idea of the major third of the scale up to the fifth, getting that chromatic idea is another idea. Da 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 dum, ba da da dum, ba da da dum, ba da da da. Even if I went up to F and I did the same thing, guess what? Third up to the fifth. Ba da da dum, ba da da dum, ba da da. Right? Ba da da. When I go to G, it's the same thing. Go to the third of the G. Right? So the same thing, this one concept on Dave W's Jazzy 4 on the floor, it goes up to the, and then it comes down the triad. So chromatically up to the third and then down the triad. And when I go up to F, listen to this. But here's the cool thing is this. The way Dave W's Jazzy Blues does is it does the third first. And then on the F chord, it just goes down to the F. Ba da 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 ba da ba. Da, 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 da. So I hardly have to move my fingers at all to get from here to here. And why does that work? Because this E flat is the flat 7 of the F scale. Da 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 da. And it gives me the sort of that first 5 notes of the blues scale, right? Da 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 da, with a little bit of chromaticism there. Da 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 da. All right, so let me put that together. Here we go for the F. Now what am I doing in the middle there? I'm doing, in between those, I'm doing the 2-note comping chords. Well, what are 2-note comping chords? We talk about this all the time. Helga is in the building, the iMusicAcademy room mom. Helga, I'm so excited that you're here this morning. I had Vicky go searching for you on WhatsApp. All right, here we go. So when you get to E and B flat, this is the second measure, you have the third and the flat 7, right? Why is that important? Because the third of the chord tells us the quality. Is it major or is it minor? The flat 7 tells us, oh, it's not a major 7. It's not that happy sound. It's a dominant. It's a flat 7, right? So you have this boom, down. Those are also called guide tones. Guide tones help. When I go to the F chord, I take these 2 notes down a half step, and now I have flat 7 of an F scale and 3. So that's the great thing about these 2-note voicings is you have the guide tones, you have the third and the flat 7, and watch how seamless this transitions to 3 flat 7 to flat 7 3 of an F scale. One of the most important things I could tell you and everybody this morning, that as you're spelling chords, This works for every style of music, everything you could think of. If you're spelling chords, one, you do left to right. If I say 3 flat 7, okay, that's E and B flat. And then when I go to flat for F, that's flat 7, going left to right, spelling the formula to 3. Now these numbers come from the major scale that I'm trying to build the chord on. So if I said build me a 2-note 3 flat 7 chord, you would say, all right, I know the scale of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So I need the 3rd note, and I need the flat 7. I need to take the normal 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and flat it, and that gives me the 2-note, also called guide tones, of your chord, your C7 chord, with the 3rd and the flat 7. Now watch this. When I go to the F, now guess what scale I'm thinking about now? Is hold on a second. You've been here a while. Yes, I always notice you, Helga. I just wanted to make sure you're in the building. That's the most important thing. Flat 7 and 3. So 3 flat 7. Now we just need we need Charity to jump on the stream. All right, here we go. Flat 7 and 3. Now, as I go to flat 7 and 3 of F scale, it's important to know I'm now thinking of the F scale. F has 1 flat, it's a B flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. And so then I have flat 7 and 3. Isn't that nice how these chords are easily, it's very smooth when you use this idea of half step changes. 3 flat 7 becomes flat 7 3. Okay, you guys understand that, and I think you do, and put that in the chat. Put this in the chat. Somebody put chord tones. These are important tips that everybody needs to know, whether or not you're a member at iMusicAcademy or what, or you're just stopping by. Chord tones are important, as well as knowing our major scales so that we can spell chords. And what I like to do is give you guys formulas all the time. Like in the jazz world, I would say, all right, I want you to play a 4th voicing. Well, what is that? Intervals of a 4th. D up to G, up to C, and you go up to E. Okay, from a D, that's the 1, that's the 4, that's the flat 7, that's the 9, that's the 5, and the root. And then the reason this is important is because we can do really nice jazzy type voicings by knowing the formula. And then if I said, okay, take that same formula, 1, 4, flat 7, 9, 5, root, right? So if we know our major scales and we know our formulas, then we can play in any key. And really, this applies to chords, but it also applies to licks. And let me give you an example. This very first measure, ba-da-da-da-da-da, 2, 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, 3, 1. The scale is the 3rd note of the C scale, chromatically up to the 5th note. So that's my formula, the 3rd. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. So it doesn't matter what key I'm in. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Somebody out, just put any key that you want out there and let's just do it. Because I've practiced, several of you have practiced learning your major scales, right? It's part of iMusicAcademy. It's important to learn our major scales. So B flat, oh, I can't play in B flat. Somebody else. Of course we can play in B flat. So B flat has 2 flats. You have E flat, B flat, and E flat. So I find the 3rd note of the B flat scale, which is your D, and you go chromatically up and then down the triad, ba-da-da-da-da-dum, right, da-da-da-da-da-dum. So I'm technically playing Dave W.'s 4 on the Floor blues with this lick, ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Let me go back to C and demonstrate something important. So just the first 2 measures of Dave W.'s jazzy 4 on the Floor, I keep saying the whole thing all the time because it's such an awesome shout out to Dave W. If I'm playing this, I'm just going to play our new bass line that we're working on, right? And I play this idea. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. And I'll put the comping chord, which I'll get to in a minute again, a reminder as to what a comping chord does. And I play this. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. Now I have a whole new vocabulary idea. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. And even in the second line, you hear this, da-da-da-da-da-dum, almost identical except you go to the flat 7 for F on the next thing. Well, why is all this important? Because if I'm just playing the blues, 2, 3, and I play this, and 3 and 4 and 2, da, da, da. And then when I go to the F chord, I can do the same idea. 2 and 3. And to be fair, or to be to honor our time with the metronome, I'm always preaching the metronome for you guys. I'm gonna put on 80 beats per minute and see how that sounds. 3, 4, maybe 85. 2, 3, 4. How about that? 2, 3, 4. Now it's forcing me to stay with the time. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm looking here at the stream. I want to make sure my keys are lined up like they're supposed to be. Oh, well, hold on a second. Why is that still up? I want to make sure you guys, is this top left corner, is that big enough for you guys to see when with the chords, the actual sheet music? Not sheet music, but the actual notation up there on the left. Is that big enough, or does that need to blow up? I hope you guys like the upgrade of my camera. My brother came by yesterday. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. I hope that you guys know that it's a little bit better. I see it's a little bit off, but I think it's getting better. Our setup's getting a little bit better. Awesome. I'm glad that you like the upgrade. All right, back to the idea. I had this idea. I had the metronome going on. Now I go to F. Bum, bum. Awesome. That's what I need to know, Helga. Thank you. And watch what happens. Let's talk about that last line for a second. This is important and very good. So this last line, awesome, Peter. I always love having you guys on. I love your feedback and communicating with each other, encouraging each other. This last line, everyone, you have on the G, it starts on the root of G. So it's the same idea of using a little chromaticism, but it opens up a little bit different spin on it. Notice that instead of starting on the third, we're actually starting on the G, and we go G, A, B flat, B. So that gives us our important minor third to major third. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. And then that puts you in line for my favorite triad. What inversion is this is a trivia question for our Blues Academy. What is my favorite inversion of the triad? Is it root position, first inversion, or second inversion, class? And let's get up to second inversion. That's right, Ted. Very good. So we have 6 people watching, which is awesome. If you haven't liked our video yet, go ahead and do that. It helps me in a lot of ways. It helps me know that you're checking in, and if you're also enjoying the content. So here we go. So yes, second inversion triad. Notice how ba-da-da-da-da-bum sets me up for that second inversion triad. Do-da-da-da-da-bum. And then it goes down to the F. Ba-da-da-da-da-bum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Let me do that again. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. And then we have this at the end. Bum, 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 bum. And we're going to go. Ba, 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 bum. So what's happening here? We have a C triad in second inversion. Bum, bum. And we're walking up our traditional turnaround chords. What are turnaround? A set of chord changes or something to help us get back to the top. And we're going C, E, F, F sharp, G. da, da, da. In our right hand, and you can practice this hand separately, and I do recommend it. C, second inversion. B flat, second inversion. An F7 chord, so I have the flat 7 of an F scale, right? And the third and the fifth. Well, how did I know that from an F chord that is an F7 chord? Because I've practiced my F scale, right? A lot of us have practiced our F major scale, and we know that's a flat 7 of the F scale, and our bass note is F, and then we have this idea of right here, bass is F, that's the flat 7 of an F scale, that's the third and the fifth. And then it's going to go to this F sharp, which creates this kind of nice little tension right there. Kind of a half diminished sound, which is for later. And then we do ba-da-da-da. Well, that's chromatically, that's G in the second inversion. And then F sharp, just going down chromatically. You can go up or down chromatically, right? And so this is down chromatically, and then F, and then I end with this sort of G6 kind of sound. I have G, B, and no D, but I have the E. You could also think of that as an E minor, and technically it could be like a G13, a little jazzy thing, but just really simple. Think of E minor over G kind of thing. So, and I would practice that by itself, but let me practice the last line. This is a great reminder of how to practice. If you want to get good at any of this, practice small sections, right? You build success by practicing one idea, like measure 9. I go ba da 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 da, ba da 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 da. And just a little quick note, as I'm looking at the sheet music, or you guys aren't looking at the sheet music so on the download that's up there in Dropbox, it's correct. On the one I'm looking at has an F flat there, which is wrong, but it is correct on that link that I sent you guys. Perfect. All right. Let's talk about this idea of the comping chord. So measure 2. And then we're going to spend the last 20 minutes talking about Ted's chart. Really important. I sent it out in the email this morning, and it's a game changer for us, guys. So stay tuned for that. The other thing I said we were going to talk about is our technology, right? We're using iReal Pro, and I have a bunch of things, but I think I'm going to separate that and do another stream. I think we're due for an extra lesson tomorrow, but also I may do a fun stream today. I may do a saxophone stream today just for fun. I've been getting back into playing some other instruments as well. So I may do something like that for fun, and you guys are more than welcome to hang out with that on that stream. So here we go, guys. Let's talk about this comping idea. If you notice, the second measure has E and B flat. That's our guide tones, our 3 and our flat 7 of the scale of C. This comping 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Thank you for the likes that are coming in. We welcome you guys. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And why am I keep playing this over and over? Because I'm playing what's called comping. Comping is you're complimenting the soloist, and in this case it's me when I do. If I'm playing a solo, da 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 da, and then I go right to comping, I'm filling up the space, right? Boo da doo da doo dum. Now I'm gonna go to F. Doo da doo da doo dum. And now I'm going to go to the G very slowly. Listen. Da 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 da. Now walk it. Again. Da 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 da. Now what am I doing here? I'm going to our quarter note bass line. Da 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 da. Then F. Da 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 da. on G. Ba da 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 da. I love practicing triads, especially second inversion triads, with this chromatic idea. Ba da da ba, your very last measure. Ba da da da. But if I was in the key of C, or my first chord of C, I would also practice same idea of these second inversion triads, which I love. I can take a C triad at the beginning. Again. F. Back to C. G. F. Again. Watch over G, F, and then that's just the last two lines right there. I'm doing second inversion triads, B flat, F7, F half diminished, or F over D7, F sharp with a D. It's kind of like a D9 kind of chord, or F half diminished, F sharp half diminished. Lots of different ways to call that. But you have this idea at the end, da 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 da. All right, now why do I keep showing you all of these simple techniques, and why am I not just playing it all the way through and then just saying let's move on? Because each one of these concepts you use in all of our playing, all of the things that we've been doing at iMusicAcademy, right? If I just worked on this one idea of the comping chord, and I said, all right, I know my quarter note bass line, and I'm just doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Or I could do this bass line. Or maybe I have this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you get the idea. Remember that inside the membership area you have the blues alternate bassline course, and for some of you who are a little more advanced and you want to take any of these ideas, just put it with a different bassline. You know that whole course has blues example 1 over all these different basslines, once you get these bass lines down and you learn how to practice hands separate, we do it slow and with the metronome, then you can say, all right, I'm going to do this one idea. Da 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 da. Do da 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 da. Right? Or da 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 da. All right, if you understand that, everybody put that in the chat that you understand that. And then I have a couple other things. We're about to do the TED chart here in a second, but I want to encourage you guys of something else. Inside the membership area, you guys know that there's the shapes course, right? That was probably one of our most popular courses. And there's the blues shapes and blues shapes in all keys, right? For my very ambitious, awesome students. You can take so many of these simple ideas, and I encourage you to do this, and just loop them over and over. I'm going to give you a quick, for example, okay? Now that I'm getting my setup almost like I want it, I'm going to film a new course that, of course, will just be put in the membership area of the shapes, right? You have this, which we know, no problem, right? You have this. We have this shape. You have. And on our beginning blues sheet, there's a million different ways we turn that one idea. Then you have the top half of the blues scale. Notice how it works, right? There's my comping chord. Let me do that again if I was just doing this. Then I would change my comping chord to F. So you have these simple ideas and you put them over different chords. The shapes course has things like this. So I went from an Oscar Peterson very simple shape, right? Oh, thank you so much, Vicky. All right, guys. So I want you to take that specific PDF, and anybody that's just joining us now and you haven't been a part of what we're doing, download this absolutely free chart at the very top. It's Dave W's 4 on the 4 Blues, and it's from Bob's Songbook number 2, right? And so download that, because even this one PDF is full of tons of ideas. Every PDF that I show you guys and teach, it's all a process of learning this stuff and playing it over and over. These bass lines we separate and play right hand, left hand, as well as the licks. Even this one example at the very end. We've been doing a lot of this. Then you go to F. And over C. Guess what on G? G in second inversion. That's for you, Ted. So I'm just taking one idea and doing something in the PDF. One idea, da-da-da-dum. This is a great thing to put into all keys. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. F. B flat. Whatever key you want to play in. And I hope that makes sense. The next thing is, all right, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to practice this one bass line and just loop it. I could drink my coffee while I'm playing this, and I'm going to be faithful by turning on the metronome, right? It's at 85 beats per minute. This is for like Paul G. does a lot of metronome training, and Paul will be waking up soon. I'm gonna hear it from Paul. Paul's on a different time schedule because he's in Vegas, I think. Well, maybe Ted is too. Ted, no, you're in Texas, aren't you, Ted? All right, Peter. So good to hang out with you. Thank you so much as always, Peter. Keep up the great work, and all of you as well. Thank you for tuning in. Awesome. Yeah, Texas. I knew that, Ted. All right. We're going to wrap up by talking about Ted's chart. And Peter, as you sign off, notice that, or know that you need to go through the chart from the Ted thing that we're about to pull up here. All right, this will be a very easy intro to the TED chart. If I pull up the right thing. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to expand this window for a second just to make sure we're good. Now, Ted, let me turn off this metronome. A lot of you have been really interested in chords. And so we're going to talk just a little bit about this, and then we're going to do a more in-depth study this next week with this chart, because there are a few things, even more, that I want to tweak with this awesome chart, Ted. Okay, so the very first thing is, Ted put this in, this idea of 2-5-1. The most common progression in jazz is, guess what? 2-5-1. Now, I'm going to play it exactly as it is in the chart. So it says D, little m7 to G7 to C major 7. So I'm looking at this area right here. Okay, so C major 7 is our key. I love the way this tells us what the different chords are in whatever key you're in. So C major, that's the one we're going to talk about today. And this is in its most basic form. You have D minor 7, and you have D. Let me get to where you can at least see my hands down here. Let's try that. Okay, so C major, you have D, F, A, C, and it has it right there in the chart. And let's just talk about that one thing. So in the key of C, C has all white notes, C up to C. And then my second note of the scale is naturally just playing what's called diatonic triads, for instance. Diatonic means within the key. So I'm in the key of C, all white notes. So if I had this triad shape and I go up, the one chord is going to be major, the 2 chord is minor, the 3rd chord is minor, the 4th is major, the 5th is major, minor, and the next one is diminished. And then you have C. So we'll talk more about that theory later. But let's go back to this idea of the D minor 7 chord, D, F, A, and C. Well, how in the world did we come up with that formula? And this circles back to the idea of knowing our major scales. Because I know that C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C has no sharps or no flats, it's all white notes. If I were to say, all right, I want to spell a C major 7, that would be pretty easy, all white notes. 1 of the C major scale, 3, 5, and the major 7 of the scale. That's 1, 3, 5, 7. But if I wanted to say, okay, what is a D minor 7, D, F, A, C as it relates to we're in the key of C, and there's a D minor 7. Well, how did I build that formula of 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7 of the D minor 7 chord? Well, I have to know my D major chord, my D major scale, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. We learn our major scales so that we can build chords, and this is yes, it's good to learn shapes and learn shortcuts and things like that, but ultimately, if we know our major scales, it really sets us up for success. D has 2 sharps, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And there's a fun way that I like to teach at iMusicAcademy that teaches how to do major scales and learn them forward, going up and down, which I think is very important. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, B, D. There's a fun little trick that I like to do, and you guys know it if you've been hanging out with me for a while. So you have D major, and the formula is 1 of the major scale, the flat 3 of the major scale, the 5 of the major scale, and the flat 7 of the major scale. So D minor 7, the reason I got to that formula of 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7 is because I know my D major scale, which my D major 7 would be 1 of a D major, the 3rd note of the D major scale, which has a F sharp normally, your 5th note of a D major scale, and your major 7, which is a part of the D major scale. But this formula is is 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. So I had to lower those two notes to get D minor 7. All right, the next chord is this G7. Okay, now this G7 is G, B, D, F. That's 1, 3, 5, and an F natural, which is a flat 7 of the G major scale. G major has 1 sharp. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And in order to get a G7, I have to flat that major 7 and get that bluesy sound. So now we have the first chord, D minor 7, to G7, and then the last one is C major 7, which we just did, C, E, G, B. Now how did I know that formula, C, E, G, B? Because 1, 3, 5 of the C major scale with the B on top. And that's 2, 5, 1, and it sounds like this. D minor, G7, C major 7. Now, this is not the best way to play it, because there are ways that make it more smooth to play. Like, we're jumping around too much by playing this. But we start by learning how to build chords, right? It's important to understand that, okay, well, the reason I can build a C major 7 chord, like right here, is because I know the C major scale, and I use 1, 3, and 5 of the and 7 of the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay, if you understand that, put that in the chat. That you understand that as we build chords, you have to spell the from the scale of the chord you're trying to build. That's why we learn, okay, D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So when I apply the formula, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, I'm flatting those notes that are normally in D major. Okay, let me put this in context. I want to show you, if you know the scale of C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, all white notes, and I wanted to build the scale formula of, all right, how do you build a C minor 7 chord? Okay, well, there's D minor right there, and I use the formula of 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7 of the scale, of any scale. So watch this. If I'm on, yes, the 5 should be 5, 7, right? So if I want to build a C minor 7 chord, watch this. There's my C. I think about the scale of C, right? And I say C minor 7 is 1, flat 3 of the scale, 5, and then flat 7 of the C major scale. Remember how we said normally it's all white notes, but I'm going to flat the 3rd note and flat the 7th note. Now you have a C minor 7 chord. And I was able to build that by just knowing my major scales, right? My C major scale. All right, very good. All right, so now let's do this. To end this lesson, I'm going to jump down to a fun way to look at this. So on the second sheet, you have this idea of, right here, Ted put, so you have C major 7 right down here, and it says a root voicing is 1, 3, 5, 7 of a major scale. Right? 1, 3, 5, 7. So it's all laid out right here on the second page of this chart. Then it says you have a rootless voicing 3, 5, 7, 9 of the C major scale. Now you have this chord, and we're already starting to open up our world of fun, beautiful chords. And even Ted put it right here. Well, that's actually an E minor 7 with that same formula of, all right, of knowing that's an E major scale, right, that we've learned, and you say 1, flat 3, 5, and flat 7, which gives us this beautiful sound, E, G, B, C, E, G, B, D, and it says it right here. But where it gets fun is doing what we have in this chart is you have an E minor 7 chord, and you put a C in the bass. Listen how beautiful that is, right? And just know that as we learn these simple or these concepts, and you can take this chart even, and you say, all right, the first one I'm going to practice this next week, and we're going to take this slow, everyone. We're going to repeat, and make sure everybody understands it and gets it. This first thing is C major 7. We're going to build that chord this next week, right? We're going to spend some time doing this. And then you're going to say, all right, E, G, B, D. And then you say, all right, I'm going to put the C with it. Now we have this beautiful C major 9 chord. Well, what in the world? How did he come up with those numbers? You have C is 1 of the C major scale, E is 3 of the scale, 5, major 7, and 9. Okay, that's a C major 9, right? And I could take this beautiful sound and go and play it on different keys, right? And even that's minor, E minor 9, but you learn these shapes. I'll go back to the major, C major 9. Now, what's a fun little fact about this one chord that we're playing right here, is that you're playing a rootless voicing in the right hand. And what that means is the bass player is playing the C, and we're playing the extensions on top. There's the 3rd note of the C major scale, the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th. So we're adding notes on top to make what are called extensions. So that's a C major 9. Now watch this. In my right hand, it's a shape. It's an E minor 7 shape. So you have this idea, so that if I go up and I change my bass note, all I have to think of is whatever chord I pick, I go up to the 3rd of the scale of that and play a minor 7 chord. So on D flat, I go up to the 3rd note of D flat scale. Let me do it on D. What's the 3rd note of the D major scale? And I play a minor 7 chord. So this same shape that we started to on this first chord chart, let me go back here just to show you guys here. With the TED chart right here, the C major 7, we said, all right, how to build this D minor 7, and that's the shape. All you have to remember is that whatever chord you're trying to build, you have these cool little shortcuts. I do want you to know the theory, but you can take this C major 9, which sounds such a nice sound. And as you guys know, that Charity is a great singer and musician. She plays in bands and does all kinds of things. When you hear these chords right here, these are right out of pop, gospel, soul, jazz, you name it. It's beautiful sounds. And a good, fun little thing to do that I was just doing is you can say, all right, that's a beautiful C major 9 sound. That's D minor 9 sound. Now watch this. Okay, here's where we're going to wind up. That we're ending with this. You have this beautiful C major 9. I want you to get used to that sound. And I'm going to go up to D, and I'm going to play an F major 7 chord. And it makes a D minor 9. And now watch what happens here. I'm going to go to a G in the bass, and watch my middle finger go down to the B. And I have that sound. My melody only changed one note, and then watch this. So just by those 2 shapes, or 3 shapes, it gives me a 2-5-1, which is, guess what? The most common progression in jazz. Da, da, da. And if I know this one idea of, all right, there's my D minor 9 chord, which is a beautiful chord. I have F major 7, and then I put my D in the bass, go down 3 half steps. Da, da, da. I can put that in any key because I've learned how to do these chords of these transitions, right? Right? Isn't that fun that you can do that? So what we're going to do over this next week is sort of demystify this jazz chord world. All right, what questions do you guys have as we wrap up? Let me minimize that. Awesome. Add the sixth. Ted says, add the sixth, A minor 7, to transition to the next key. Add the sixth. Let me go back and make sure I understand what you're talking about. You have to make sure you explain to me what your thought is on that. Yeah, we're gonna get to the sixth chord, but right now I just like for sure the 2-5-1, so we're gonna spend a little time with that. But yes, technically we can go 2-5, then you can go 3-6. Very cool. Awesome. Hey, great lesson, everyone. And shout out to all of our iMusic Blues Academy members. You guys are so much fun, and very proud of each one of you. Have fun with the Dave W chart, everyone. Download it. I'm giving you guys another let's say 1 minute to download that chart. It will be in the comments, but sometimes it takes a little bit for the comments to process. So go ahead and download that chart and have fun with it. And my best advice for that is to pick an idea, like learn the song, but spend time and practice those comping things, and then you practice going to that flat 7, da 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 da, and then practice the bass line. On G. All right, so much fun. Let me just check the last thing. Also explain the expression drop 2, not in this lesson. But good call, Vicky. All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. I will definitely do a bonus stream for our Blues Academy. I want to do a software thing. I want to catch you guys up with iReal Pro and make sure you guys are using that, as well as your online metronome. Everyone go to onlinemetronome.com. I am not a sponsor of them, but I am a sponsor of going to an easy way to get to a metronome at all times. Awesome. Yeah, when we get there. Isn't the 6th of the D minor 7? Okay, isn't the 6th of the D minor 7 an F sharp, which takes you to G7? Helga, you can't retract your messages. You're close. So, see, I wanted to even process your comment. Can't believe you retracted that. Why did you say never mind, Helga? So, in its most basic, I know you did. We know you did. I wish you hadn't done that. So what I like to do, let me give you everyone this tip here. is I do want you to learn, everybody to learn the theory. It is important, and we take one major scale at a time and understand how to build chords. That's kind of for later as well. If we just learn the shapes, then it doesn't set us up to be able to really get comfortable in different keys. But the idea of learning this particular shape right here, F major 7. Yeah, sure, we all have to think about it. F major 7. Right, this one example right here, and I put a D in the bass with that. Okay, now that's a beautiful shape, and just to go to G, I'm going to go to G in the bass, and then my middle finger comes down to B. But my still have nice what's called voicing. Like, notice the top stays the same, da da da, and that gives me 2 5 1, which is our most common progression in jazz. Okay, even that one idea, I can just spend time da 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 da, or I could do this da 2 and 3 and 4 or if I wanted to solo with those notes, I could go ba da doo da 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 doo da. Again, back to the comping. How about this? You hear what I'm doing there? I just taking that same shape, and now I'm creating music with it. Now, why in the world does that even work? Why does it work when I arpeggiate those? That's what that's called when you do that. Dee da da da. Why does that work? Because it's chord tones. Ba ba da ba. Ba da da da, and I can even walk it up. Ba da da da, da 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 da. How about this? Da 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 da. Or I could go up. How about this? So what I did then, and I hope that you guys understood that, I did this from Dave W's Jazzy 4 on the Floor. Da 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 da. So all I'm doing there is that idea of that minor third to major third. But isn't it nice how you can take a simple idea, ba da da da, which is Dave W's thing, da 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 da. But even this idea of the minor third to major third that we talk about all the time in blues. Ba, ba, da, 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 da. That's just blues example 5 or 6, whatever, from volume 1. Or I can use my blues shape. What's up, Dean? Dean's a very talented jazz piano player. 2 and 3. So I hope that you hear the only things that I am doing are very simple things from our Blues Academy, right? Our Blues Volume 1, our shapes course, and all I did is that's shape 2, or the minor third to major third. Right? And so blues and jazz work well together. And all I'm showing you there is all I'm doing is arpeggiation there. D minor. That's the fun thing about improvisation is we talk about chord tones. Yeah, it's so much better. Dean, it's so good to connect with you. I always wonder how things are going with you. So I love it when you jump in the stream. Dean and I have had many lessons together. He's a very talented pianist, and I'm very proud of you with all your work that you've done. And Dean, now's the time to start thinking about Christmas tunes. You have to come up with your Christmas set list, which I'm going to do some very cool arranging this year of some things for people to play for Christmas. It's coming. Yeah, this is two streams in a row that we've seen Dean, so awesome. So good to see all of you. All right, our faithful have been hanging out, and that's been really fun. Since this was your bonus part of the stream, just remember, everybody, practice this. 2, 5, 1 with these notes: D, F, A, C, E, and then F, A, B, E, and then E, G, B, D. Ba-da-dum. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas F, just like the G. Ones I used to know, 3, 6, 2, 5, where the treetops. I'll do the same shape. And children listen. What? No way, Helga. Helga's not going anywhere. You can't leave us. We need you here. 'Cause if Helga's not in the building, what will we do? We'll try to do our best, but there's no one like you, Helga. She's the best room mom, always acting kind of crazy, but that's how we get along. She thinks I'm crazy, I think she knows she's the best, but she is not allowed to stay away. Where you going, Helga? We'll miss you, Helga. All right, 1 week. We'll make note of that. All right, guys, it's been so much fun. I think I'm going to dust off a couple of my horn instruments this next stream. And you guys know that my Thursday is more relaxed for doing some streams. And many of you are following me on Instagram and afterwards. I got you. Well, you know what? You know what the good news? Awesome. Okay. Well, the good news, Helga, is you'll be able to do our ear training stuff that we're starting up. And you guess what? You don't even have to be at a piano for ear training. Helga, wherever you are in the world, keep in touch with us while you're traveling and stuff. But we'll definitely keep you informed and in the loop on everything. And we have lots of world travelers in our group. All right, let me just say a couple of things on the way out. I want to give shout outs. This is important because I'm absolutely loving anybody who wants to join our group. All it is literally one lesson a month with me, not to mention all of the free stuff that you guys get, Bob songbooks, all the things, everything that you get, every course I release, as well as having everything in the membership area. It's an amazing thing to sign up for that. I'm very passionate about teaching. All right, so a shout out to our growing community is we have Dave P, T-Man, Peter, Claire, Dave W, got the tune of the day, Ian, Charity, Vicky, Ted, Pat, Paul G, Helga, Jack, DJ, Mike, Hugh, and Gary P for the latest member of the day. And you guys have an awesome day. Helga, Vicky, Dean, Ted, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out for the extra bonus stuff. And as always, our room mom is signing off next week, but she'll be back. Everybody knows it'll be all right. Have a great day. You got 30 seconds to say your goodbyes for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Proud of all of you. like a bolt out of the blue.